organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming up on Daily Iowan TV, forwards, backwards, or sideways. Find out what local campaign groups are saying about the direction of the economy.
And find out how a pricey computer purchase has landed the Johnson County Auditor in some hot water.
And in sports, a rough night at Kinnick Stadium, and we've got all the highlights.
That's all coming your way next. Daily Iowan TV starts now.
I'm Tom Brokaw. For more than 100 years now, the University of Iowa community has been waking up to the Daily Iowan. Today, it's the largest newsroom in eastern Iowa. And now you can see the news every night on Daily Iowan TV and get it anytime worldwide at dailyiowan.com.
Thanks for tuning in to your Sunday edition of Daily Iowan TV. I'm Brad Maxwell.
And I'm Ryan Jones. Johnson County's auditor has sparked controversy once again. Tom Slockett recently spent $58,000 more than he was supposed to on voting-related equipment. Slockett made headlines just this past June after he broke re-election campaign rules. His 35-year term will end December after he lost Democratic primary election back in June. Johnson County supervisors will meet next week to discuss how to prevent future department heads from this type of reckless spending.
And the economy is slowly recovering after experiencing some of the highest unemployment rates since the Great Depression. And both President Obama and Governor Romney are campaigning for economic development in the middle class. Earlier, I looked at the role the economy is playing in the 2012 election. Rock bottom to slow progression. The economy has experienced a great deal of shift since President Obama took office. But the president says his economic plan is putting America back on track.
We're moving forward again. After losing 800,000 jobs a month when I took office, our businesses have now added more than 5 million new jobs over the past 2.5 years. Unemployment has fallen from a peak of 10% to 7.8%.
When President Obama took office in January 2009, nearly 1 million jobs were lost in the first month alone, a rate not seen since the Great Depression. Unemployment soared from 4.9% to a peak of 10% over the past 4 years, leading Republicans to question the president's message.
I think it's more about a lack of a message for the president. I mean, 4 years later, we're still waiting on the economic recovery that we were promised. We have not seen it or anything resembling it.
But September showed signs of promise. Unemployment took an unexpected drop of 0.3%, sending the unemployment rate below 8% for the first time in 2 years. The Obama administration also announced that nearly 400,000 jobs were created over the past 4 years than originally expected. Jobs aimed at improving the middle class.
Folks here in Iowa understand this. You cannot grow this economy from the top down. You grow this economy from the middle class out.
But as the presidential hype fades, Republicans believe voters will become impatient with President Obama's economic plan.
He added $5 trillion to the debt, and there's very, very little to show for it. And there's going to be a lot of people like this throughout Iowa, throughout the United States, people who you know, they bought into the hype 4 years ago, and they're not going to fall for it again.
So as the economy slowly rebuilds, voters will decide whether President Obama is leading us in the right direction or a fresh face in the White House is the key to economic success. You can learn more about the issues surrounding the economy in tomorrow's issue of the Daily Iowan.
And still to come on Daily Iowan TV. The election is heating up, and we have more on how one minority group may impact the outcome.
And in sports, we have all the news and notes from another busy weekend of Hawkeye athletics. But first, let's check in with Stefan Duran for a look at this week's weather. Now, Stefan, it was bright and sunny today. Can we expect something similar for this week?
Well, guys, we can expect some sun, but not for long. Tomorrow, we might start things off with some rain and temps around 63 degrees in the morning. Rain and storms will stay around with a 30% chance of rain, and temperatures will increase to about 69 degrees. In the evening, temps remain about the same, but the rain looks to continue with chances still around 30% and low temps of only 68 degrees. Now let's take a look at what we have in store for the rest of the week. Tuesday and Wednesday, we will see those storms from Monday back off, seeing only partly cloudy skies with highs in the lower 70s and lows around 63 degrees. Thursday, we do see a chance of those storms come back into the forecast with another 30% chance. Towards the end of the week, things look to calm down with partly cloudy skies on both Friday and Saturday. So this week, we will definitely see some of those late fall storms come into play, but cooler temps are certainly on their way. Back to you guys.
Latin women in the LGBT community are proving to be a very influential group in this upcoming election. Daily Iowan TV reporter Kara Bimschlager has more on why.
Members of the international fraternity Sigma Lambda Beta gathered to show the movie Somos Latinos Thursday night in the Chemistry Building to a crowd of around 30 people. Focusing on race, gender, and identity, the movie highlighted women within the Latino community that are either lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, or asexual, and the struggles these women face in the Latino community. Following one woman and her struggle to identify her sexual orientation, the film documented many aspects of the issue of gay rights. With the upcoming presidential election, gay rights is a very important topic that can either make or break a voter's decision.
Definitely it's going to have a huge effect on which candidate will be chosen eventually, not only in the Latino vote though, but especially with the LGBT community.
UI Department of Anthropology graduate Elias Gonzalez led a discussion with the audience. Many audience members shared personal stories of friends and family who have come out to them. The discussion also focused on the election coming up and what candidates they think support the LGBT community.
Known in many circles, the gay community seems to be more supportive of President Obama because, and the Democratic Party in general, just because they have explicitly come out on their platform as being much more supportive of issues like gay rights.
This is Kara Bimschlager, Daily Iowan TV.
And if you're a regular at the Iowa City Farmers Market, you might have stumbled upon Kyle Seek's burrito stand. Seek graduated from the University of Iowa and is making a living through his burrito stand, an idea that came to him 4 years ago after his first visit to the farmers market. Seek realized that there were fewer options for cooked food. He hopes to inspire people to use more local and organic ingredients that will hopefully lead to better health.
And now let's take a look at what is happening around the world. Sick patients in Myanmar, an Eastern Asian country, are having a hard time getting prescription drugs for HIV. Only the very sickest of patients are receiving medical attention. The global funds have urged the country to apply for more assistance.
And Iran wants to have some one-on-one time with the United States to discuss their nuclear program. Iranian officials have insisted to wait until after the U.S. election to have the negotiations. They also want to know who they will be working with during the talks. The Obama administration has yet to agree on the proposition.
And the Vatican City met their first Native American saint earlier Sunday morning. Pope Benedict XVI added 7 more saints to the priesthood, including Kitari Kitawatha, the first Native American to receive such a title. Kitari is one of 2 Americans honored in front of 80,000 pilgrims from around the world.
Things didn't go quite as expected for the Black and Gold Saturday night, with Penn State coming to an electric Kinnick Stadium atmosphere and coming out with a convincing 38-14 victory. Cody Goodwin is in the Daily Iowan TV Sports Studio with more. Cody?
That's right, Brad. It was a tough outing on Saturday night for the Black and Gold as the Penn State Nittany Lions came into Kinnick Stadium and, quite frankly, put a beat down on the Black and Gold. Daily Iowan TV Sports reporter Annie Costable kicks off our coverage.
Both the Nittany Lions and the Hawkeyes have always been compared as being similar teams. But after going over the 2012 numbers, they appear to be more similar than we thought. Heading into the matchup, both teams were 4-2 and undefeated in Big Ten play. And with both teams scoring defenses ranking 2nd and 3rd in the Big Ten, it was expected to be a low-scoring game. Here's Nick Rector with highlights from the matchup.
Thanks, Annie. Well, it was an explosive atmosphere in Kinnick last night as those Black and Gold fans gathered for Iowa's only night game of the season. Penn State was all over things early, though. Here's Matt McGloin connecting with Jesse James for the Nittany Lion touchdown. Iowa's Mike Meyer missed an opportunity to grab Iowa 3 points halfway through the second quarter, pulling a 49-yard field goal attempt. He would miss another kick early in the second half. Penn State with the ball back, and hey-oh, look at this catch by Penn State tight end Kyle Carter. McGloin would finish the drive, finding Robinson for the 8-yard touchdown pass. It seemed like Iowa would get things rolling offensively, though, as Vandenberg finds Davis for the 31-yard pass and catch. Iowa wouldn't be able to finish the drive with any points, though. Hawkeye fans, you might want to look away now because things got a little bit ugly in this one. Coming out of halftime, Penn State picked up where they left off with McGloin going deep to Mosby Felder. Sophomore running back Bill Belton would finish the drive rushing for the touchdown. As you can see, those Hawkeye fans weren't too impressed with their team's efforts, with the student section giving up on Iowa early in the third quarter. The Hawkeyes would regain a little bit of dignity in the fourth quarter, though, with Jordan Cotton returning a kickoff for 57 yards and an Iowa touchdown. They would grab one more touchdown with 4 minutes left, but by then, it was all over. In the end, it was too little too late for the Hawkeyes, but with Northwestern away next weekend, they do have a chance to redeem themselves on the road. Let's kick it to Josh Bolander now for a more in-depth look at the game.
Matt McGloin was on the field early. In fact, he was on the Kinnick Stadium turf 90 minutes before this Saturday night's game. He knew how important the game was to his team, his university, his community. This was Iowa-Penn State. Under the lights, a budding rivalry game, and a home crowd that was as electric as any Big Ten venue will host all season. Not to mention both teams were coming off impressive come-from-behind victories and leading the Big Ten standings. With all that on the line, McGloin, like his team and head coach have done all year long, blocked out the distractions and silenced a raucous home crowd stunned by the convincing 38-14 outcome of the game.
Did a great job at their bye week apparently, and they had it going tonight, and their quarterback really played a tremendous game.
It hasn't always been this way for McGloin. The senior quarterback had to battle for playtime, but has since showed a poise and moxie in the pocket that has put him in the discussion as the Big Ten's best signal caller and left a strong Hawkeye defense struggling to find answers for much of the night. Iowa's James Vandenberg was supposed to be in that group, and while at times the Keokuk native has shown flashes of what he can be, the mistakes are building up. Patience is running thin, and with a fan base notorious for upholding their quarterbacks to elite standards, the embarrassing performance of Saturday night has the Hawks senior captain on the hot seat.
Was there any point late in the game where you thought about taking James out and playing your game?
Yeah, I thought about it, but there's really, probably one of the biggest decisions I had tonight, that's for sure.
Regardless of the outcome, the season cannot be lost. And with the black and gold still in contention within division play, it will be up to Iowa's leaders to get them back on track next week versus Northwestern. Wrapping up Iowa's 38-14 loss to Penn State, Josh Bolander, Daily Iowan TV Sport.
And it wasn't just football competing over the weekend, with a number of Hawkeye Olympic sports in action as well. Nebraska sophomore Caroline Gray handed the Soccer Hawks their first overtime loss of the year, netting the difference maker just 43 seconds into the first period of overtime on Thursday night. The Hawks, who got off to one of their best starts in school's history, have since stumbled down the stretch and are now 11-4-3 on the year, with only two Big Ten wins to show for in 9 matches. Better news for the Field Hawks behind junior Kelsey Mitchell's team-leading 7th and 8th goals of the season. Iowa tore apart Kent State on Saturday 3-1 on Saturday afternoon, and Iowa was able to keep that momentum going this afternoon, downing Ball State 6-0 at Grant Field. And finally, the Iowa volleyball team fell to Northwestern this afternoon in straight sets, 22-25, 18-25, and 15-25. Junior Rachel Bedell continued her impressive season, leading the Hawks in kills with 12. And a whole lot more going on in Hawkeye athletics. We'll have coverage of every Iowa sport all week long. Unfortunately, though, that's all the time we have tonight on sports. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Cody. And only with Daily Iowan TV can you get a sneak peek into Monday's edition of the Daily Iowan. Read about the types of complaints coming into the UI's office of the Ombudsman.
And see how Romney's campaign feels about President Obama's celebrity support. That's your latest edition of Daily Iowan TV. Be sure to check us out tomorrow or anytime online at dailyiowan.com.
Thanks for watching. Have a great night.